technology is always a solution in the crisis. So technology will be really handy. There are multiple areas in which this technology would be adopted. One area is in the conduction of admission tests, the learning space.
For online education to really become mainstream and enroll, millions of students rather than hundreds of thousands of students, we need to have online degrees that are accredited by the various agencies.
My message to all the students and the higher education stakeholders is we need to double our efforts in this time in order to sustain and keep our economy afloat.
In India, we have to look at technology and education 4.0 as actually providing education to the uneducated, people who are not getting quality education.
Education 3.0 was nothing but technology driven. This is now going to be a permanent feature and is now going to figure in all the teaching learning activities of times to come.
We have an esteemed set of panelists from different institutions across Tamil Nadu and Kerala. And so Collegedunia has been conducting a series of webinars for the past 3 months after the lockdown has been announced. And we were trying to connect with different academicians, top management of different educational institutions to get their views on how this educational landscape is transforming in the coming years. So today also we've taken a very interesting topic. We have taken what and all courses are going to boom, right? So we have different sectors like engineering, arts and science, media, liberal arts, etc. So there is expected boom in majority of these fields. So we have panelists from different areas also to explain about each and every course, in much detail, and what is the job scenario for each and every course. Without further ado, I'll just introduce each of the panelists to you. So first, I'll start with Anwar sir. So Anwar sir has been is the current director of Quaidi Millat Institute of Media Studies. Sir has begun his career as a freelance journalist and photographer, working with Aside, a Chennai-based fortnightly. So he has photographed for a number of magazines and newspapers and books, including the pictorial book Raj Bhavans of Tamil Nadu. He was commissioned by the Archaeological Survey of India to make a series of short films on the Tanjavur Big Temple on the commemoration of 1000th year celebration of that World Heritage Monument. His documentary film Yadum won several awards, including the Bronze Remy Award at the 48th World Fest Houston International Festival. We are happy to welcome you to the panel, sir. Yeah. So let me introduce Nagaraj Neerachal, sir. Sir is currently the Vice Chancellor of Chinmaya Vishwa Vidyapeeth University, based out in Kerala, Ernakulam. Dr. Nagaraj sir has studied in the University of Maryland, Baltimore country. So he assumed the office last year, the 4th of August of 2019. At the University of Baltimore, sir was a professor and graduate program director for statistics. He is also the director of the Center for Interdisciplinary Consulting and Research in the Department of Mathematics and Statistics. He was the chair of the department from 2006 to 2015. With a PhD in statistics from Iowa State University, USA, Professor Neerachal's research and publications encompasses theory as well as application of statistics. So we welcome you to the esteemed panel, sir.
Thank you very much.
So let me now introduce Mr. Karunakaran, sir. Sir is the current Chief Executive Officer of Hindustan Educational Institutes. Karunakaran, sir, has done his PhD in chemistry from Annamalai University in 1993. He has around 27 years of experience in teaching, research, and administration. He has published almost 68 research journals in 32 conferences. Dr. Karunakaran has also published 6 books. He has trained in 50 programs. Dr. Karnagaran sir is MHRD's lead participant. He has been an academic council member for 4 colleges and governing council member for 2 colleges. We welcome to the esteemed panel, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So let me introduce Dr. P.S.S. Srinivasan, sir. Sir is the founder and principal of Knowledge Institute of Technology. Sir is an agile leader and edupreneur. He has around 30 years of experience in engineering and management education. After having 19 years of experience as a faculty, head of department and principal, he has established Knowledge Institute Trust in 2009 as the founder. Sir, in the past 11 years, with his agile leadership, he has brought both the institution on top 50 in admissions and placements in last 3 years among 500 plus self-financing engineering colleges. So KIOT is NAC and NBA accredited also. Sir is an excellent researcher, supervised 14 PhDs, supervising 3 PhDs currently, and published more than 130 research papers. We are honored to have you on the board, sir.
Yeah, happy in joining.
Thank you. So the students have joined, and the question and answer is also open. But before going to the question and answer, let me start with the opening remarks from each of the panels. Let me start with Anwar sir from Media Studies. So you can have your opening remarks on the topic, sir.
Thank you for inviting us. It's a very august company and kind of very varied disciplines also. So I am probably, I say, a little odd man out, as we are into media, and it's one of the, before the COVID pandemic broke, this was one of the fastest growing areas in Indian economy. The media has been the fastest growing, and it has gone through a tremendous change. What media was about 20 years back when I started, 25 years back, and what it is now is completely different thing. And today there is a lot more job opportunities, and media is not just defined by the print, the newspapers alone, or the radio, as it was about 20 years back. Today media means it includes even social media. It includes things like YouTube, Facebook, and everything becomes Twitter. Everything becomes part of media, and we have been trying to kind of bring in that. So there are a lot of job opportunities when anyone is looking at. So many YouTube channels, coming up, so many other, for any company, any institution, if you are not there on the digital platform, then you don't exist. That is the status we all find today. And media plays a very big role in that, content creation, many other ways. So a few years back, our management thought that it's very important, and especially where our management, felt there is a lack is, there are enough institutions, to train students in journalism, in media, in English, but for vernacular, looking at Tamil, there are not many. So what we do is we offer, both for the vernacular as well as we want to, improve content over here. So that is the idea with which this institution, Kaizen International Academy, was started. I think I leave it for other panelists to speak.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your opening remarks, sir. Let me go to Nagaraj, sir. Sir, your opening remarks on the topic.
Certainly. Thank you very much. And I think it is indeed a pleasure to be in this panel, and especially in the company of such high accomplishing education leaders from such a variety of fields in India. One of the things that I think the title of the session, booming undergraduate and opportunities ahead. So that actually is a very trigger. And so what is booming? What is booming and what are the opportunities? So one of the main things I see, especially in a country like India, a lot of young people, and we have a responsibility to educate these young people for the future. And things are changing all the time. And many people will say, especially people of our generation, I'm talking about people in this panel and people of my age, what we notice is that every profession, the way the profession is being practiced today, has changed significantly in the last several years because of the internet, of course, and the internet information technology, the way a profession has changed. I think one of the things that Dr. Anwar mentioned, how the media practice has changed from totally pen and paper to entirely online. Imagine a doctor, and the doctor today is using machines and technology that didn't even exist when the doctor graduated from the college 10, 15, 20 years ago. So, what is it that constant in this changing world? What is it that constant? The changing world of a changing world, the only thing that is constant is the fact that we need to learn. Every time something changes, we need to learn something new. This is the only constant. So this is the main thing that we need to learn in college. In school, we need to learn to learn. And I usually try to kind of say, because I am right now, Chinmaya Vishwavidyapith, which is located just outside Ernakulam, in the heartland of Kerala, I say, padikyan padik. You have to learn. And seekna seeko in Hindi. You have to do that. Because what you learn is much less important. The fact that you learn something new. And our curriculum now should be based on that one. Not give people algorithms, but actually teach them how to invent algorithms. So I see a lot of opportunities ahead for those of you and those of us, because we still are learning, that keep this in mind. Learn to learn.
Perfect, sir. Perfect, Nagaraj sir. That was a great opening comment. So let me now go on to Karnakaran sir. Sir, your opening remarks on this topic.
Yeah. Vanakkam and good evening to all of you, most respected panelists and other colleagues. What I see with regard to this topic, booming undergraduate programs and its opportunities. Yeah, of course, there are a number of undergraduate new disciplines are emerging, almost in all the field. But keeping two things clearly in the view. One is with respect to new era technologies. The other area is the future skills. When we talk about the future skills, of course, World Economic Forum or India Skills Reports or whatever may be the report anticipates that the future skills are with respect to creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, and more importantly, this emotional intelligence component. So importance are given for this soft skill development during this design of new undergraduate programs in India. When we come to the new era technology, of course, artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, IoT, data analytics, UX, UI, cloud computing, almost, right? It is not the subjects of engineering now. It is the subjects of all the fields. Even if we design a course in business administration, we would like to see that how we want to adopt both these future needed soft skills as well as the technology component in it. So many courses are emerged on this area. For example, the existing undergraduate program in business administration is emerged as business administration specialization in business analytics. Even if you could find a commerce course specialization in data analytics, computer science with cognitive systems, whatnot, it goes on. Mainly taking these two components importantly into consideration. Of course, these new undergraduate programs are designed and now taken up for implementation even during this COVID pandemic time, both in the engineering side as well as in the arts, science, commerce, and management side.
Great, sir. Great. Thank you for your opening remarks, Karnakaran sir. Let me now move on to Srinivasan sir. Sir, your opening remarks on the topic.
Yeah. Thanks to all the three panelists for throwing different perspectives. See, I am from an engineering background. 30 years in the academic education, engineering education, management education. See, every time something new has been introduced, the world has experienced a great change. The way in which we live, the way in which we think, the way in which we operate. Say, for example, this civil engineering was the oldest. Then, with the invention of internal combustion, the external combustion engines in somewhere around 1850s, the mechanical engineering revolution has started. That has revolutionized a lot of things like transportation, from bullock carts to now supersonic flights. Similarly, this electricity has come into existence in the beginning of 19th century. It has totally transformed work. Without electricity, we cannot imagine a world. Without transportation, we cannot imagine a world. So the way in which we have been doing remains the same. What we have been doing remains the same. The way in which we have been doing has changed according to the availability of new technology and facilities. Then 1950s, the electronics has come that has revolutionized the control system area. Say, for example, for Diwali, we have been launching our rocket trackers for so many years, hundreds of years. But why we have rocket launches to put satellites in GSLV, like rockets in after 1980s? Because nanoseconds precise control of anything was possible only after the invention of electronics. So that has led to the birth of microprocessors, subsequently the computers, now integration of computers. Now the new buzzword is internet. So this internet has given a lot of birth to data, now data science. Now we have a lot of data. What to do with the data? So let us, our human brain is not able to interpret. Let us go for artificial intelligence. The algorithms that we use in artificial intelligence were invented in the beginning of 1900s and 1930s, 40s. But we could not use it basically because we do not have high capacity processing machines. Now with the very high processing machines, computer capabilities, now computers can able to think. So that is why I think now this internet along with sensors has brought something called the Internet of Things. See, in my opinion, artificial intelligence, data science, Internet of Things, coupled with digital, will totally revolutionize in another 5 to 10 years what the way we were doing or whatever we do. Uh, this is one perspective. The second perspective is, see, in the beginning of the industrial revolution, we thought everything is available in abundance, say like our fossil fuels. Now that are going to end on some day, maybe 50 years in terms of oil or 100 years in terms of coal. What will we do for energy? Without energy, we cannot do. So now we have moved from abundance to scarcity. Similarly, we are lavishly using without knowing the harm that it creates on environment. Now we started feeling climatic changes, melting of ice, raising of sea levels, and so many things. So with all these things, now we are lavishness to sustainable way. So existing technologies, we have to rethink in a different way now to reinvent. So that is where the fascinating world of engineering offers a very big opportunity. And doesn't mean engineering is the only thing, because that provides a tool. But to make a happy living, we need arts, we need music, we need film, and basic sciences are needed to invent some new phenomena. And of course, Dr. Nagaraj is talking of how to blend the Indian tradition with modern science. So everything is needed. So whatever is needed, yeah, okay, fine. But unless otherwise media is there and media science is there, we cannot make it known to everyone. So it's a very good combination. I appreciate. And with this opening remarks, dear friends, every field has got a good opportunity. What is required is the today employment is not a problem in India. Employability is a problem. The employability, especially Nagaraj and our Karnagaran has said, soft skills is a very great lacking. So that is where now companies look for knowledge, skill and tool usage, attitude and behavior. So India is known for rich tradition and good attitude and behavior. In the 600, 700 years of Mughal rule and British rule, all foreign rulers, we lost our tradition. So it is the time to re-establish this. I think with the new education policy, I'm not for or against any government, but in general, it's a welcome change that brought in many such reforms. So naturally, those who are entering into college now has got very big opportunities. My only advice is that look for employability quotient, how to improve in every aspect. If it is there in your curriculum, part of curriculum, no problem. Otherwise, today the internet resources offers plenty of ways to learn by ourselves. So if you blend both, then one more point is India is the youngest country in the world, growing economy. The geopolitical situation also matters in getting a job. So because of this COVID-19, many of the countries are against China and they are shifting their policies towards against China. So that provides a lot of opportunities in the manufacturing sector in India. And government has brought in self-reliant India, running a lot of defense that we purchase huge quantity of defense items that are going to be indigenous. With all these opportunities, probably 2 years down the line, another 10 to 20 years, every field will be having very big opportunity, especially my core domain engineering, without which we cannot do many things. We'll have a plenty of future. But today people think only computer science is the only area where we have opportunities. But civil engineering, mechanical engineering, every field has got opportunities because now there is no isolation. Everything is blended now. With this opening note, over to the moderator.
Perfect, sir. Perfect, Srinivasan, sir. So you covered on a lot of important points about like importance of technology and the employability of students. So let me come back to Anwar, sir. Media science is one of the growing fields all over the world, particularly in places where democracy is ruling. We say that media is the fourth estate. So, what quality should the student look at himself before choosing this media courses over the years? For example, in tech field, probably people would be more interested in numbers, so people would go to technology field. So, likewise, if you could recommend certain parameters for students to look at themselves to before joining media, what it would be?
Thank you. Like Dr. Karnagaran and Dr. Srinivasan said, there's a lot of things blending in now, including technology. They're talking about big data analytics. Now there is big data journalism is there. You get so much of information, but that needs to be analyzed, collated, and then something needs to be, conclusions need to be driven. So there's so much data. Today there is no dearth of data, so much data coming in. But how do you shift through all that and make sense? So you need, journalists to be really trained in, and these are becoming focus areas now. So one thing I would say is that for a media person, basically, if you are creatively inclined and you have a social consciousness, so you want to do something for the society, this is the best place. If you have that kind of an inclination, then nothing like media, because you enjoy, you get a ringside view of all that's happening, be it in science or politics or anything. You get a ringside view. At the same time, you're also able to influence. So, and the thing is, not just democracies, even guided democracies or whatever. Today media has become much more complex. It's not straight newspapers. Even the content that you are taking, television content or film content, be it Netflix or Amazon Prime, everything is about communication. This is all media. Cinema also is media. So it's a much more wider, larger thing than a small thing of what was confined to initial days as newspaper and radio. It's much beyond that. So it's a much larger canvas today. So anyone who has a creative ability, who thinks that who can contribute, who can get the communication across, the ideas across, this will be an ideal field. Media will be an ideal field because there are various streams. It's not just about writing an article, or appearing before a television. You could be doing it in many ways. An animation film. If you are interested in animation, you can do wonderful animation films. I think most of us would have seen this Janaki thing some time back. School teacher coming in a kind of animated thing, and it struck a chord with a lot of people. He was using technology, simple technology, to make fun of things and also communicate views. The lockdown and all that. Mrs. Janaki, school teacher. So media is a much more. So even that is media. For children, if you are able to teach things, in animation, that is again, communicating ideas, all that. So media is a very much larger canvas. Not just, we need to get out of this mentality of media being newspapers or television reports. No, it's much, much wider. Anything that you see visually, and a lot of today the consumption is through visual. And yes, radio itself is going through innovation. You have podcasts, there's so many other forms that are coming. Every month, some new technology is being thrown up. So it's a very large canvas. So I would say you have the drive, you are creatively inclined, passionate, and you have that artistic skills, and you want to change the society. Yes, this is the place to. Those are basic skills I would say a student would require. The passion to do change and feel creative.
Great, sir. Great. So, sir talked about passion. So the attendees can look at, if they are interested in media field, all you require is passion and the ability to change, and you can contribute. So let me come to Nagaraj sir again. Sir, with related to arts and science field, so what do you think are the parameters which a student should look for in themselves before choosing this course?
Yeah. So in Chimay Vishwavidyapit, CVV for short, we want to combine the passion and profession. We want them to be prepared for profession. They should be employable, of course, because that is the first thing. You have to pay your bills, and you want your parents wants you to pay your bills, and get a good job, paying job. But many of us, when you are growing up, we have more than one interest. We want to be a doctor, we want to be an engineer, we want to be a journalist, but on the side, I want to be a musician, or I'm very interested in music or art or dance and so on. So that is what actually we try to do in the Chimay Vishwavidyapit. We try to provide them an opportunity for them to be pursuing a career while being able to pursue their passion as well as a minor, perhaps. So, how do you prepare for this? I would say, first of all, you have to first do something that is very interesting to you. So the one who can combine passion and profession is house music, and he can make a living as a musician. He is a very lucky person. Someone who is a dancer who can make a living as a dancer, she is a very lucky person. But there are a lot of people, I'm sure, people in the panel here, I'm sure if you just talk to them, they'll say that, they are a very ardent follower of Carnatic classical music on the side. I'm sure it'll come up. And so how do we do that? How do you keep that thing alive? So you need to be very curious. And if you bring that curiosity, if you bring that appreciation of beauty, you will be doing well in both sides. So you will be a manager, and you will be no nonsense manager because you have the technical ability. But because you're able to appreciate beauty, you will not simply look at a firm or a factory as just as a producer. You will think of it as part of God's creation, or part of this whole nature, whatever the best way you want to think about. And you say you are being part of it, and you want to make that you want to be part of that ecosystem. So the most important thing is bring that curiosity and the passion. So no matter which subject you choose, whether you choose arts or science or mathematics like I did, you will be fine. You bring that curiosity, you should be asking a lot of questions, but be passionate about what you're following.
Great, sir. Great, Nagaraj, sir. So let me come to Karunakaran, sir. Sir, you are part of Hindustan Engineering.
Can you get back, sir? It's not audible.
That's audio.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, sir. So am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes, sir. So my question is like previously, so you are handling Hindustan group of institutions which has multiple colleges like arts and
Yes.
science college, you have engineering college. So you'll have a holistic picture, right? So
Yes,
if
you are
a
right.
student has to, yeah, if a student has to choose a particular course, what parameters he has to look at, and how should he choose a course?
See, usually when a student completes a class 12 education, nowadays I think students have, I'm not taking all, but majority of the students have the thought that where they want to be and what kind of course they want to study. They are very clear about it. Because a lot of references are there, a lot of their seniors are directing rather than the parents. So they clearly focus, right? If a student, particularly they come for programs like costume design in our campus. Few students approach for animation course. Few students are very, very specific about commerce program. You know that in Tamil Nadu, I don't know about the other states, but in Tamil Nadu, even the students who study science group in class 12, they approach for commerce education. That's the beauty. I don't know the reason, because they think that commerce education will give better perspective than the core science stream. That may be the reason. You know that in the recent 1 or 2 years, even the admission towards mathematics programs are come down like anything. This general trend has created among the students. But towards the arts and science stream, yes, now more students take admissions, and the reason may be, yes, lighter course and wants to have all-round personality development. That may be the reason. The last few years, right, the admission towards engineering has come down, but this year it's again getting geared up. Even among those branches of study, see, we find the trend. We don't know the reason. The reason for the trend towards certain programs 1 year. Say, for example, for about 3 years, 4 years back, huge rush was there towards the mechanical engineering program. This year, we witnessed towards computing and IT related programs. In terms of arts, it's towards commerce education. This is a general trend. But for the course what we designed from Hindustan and all, whatever may be the program, we are very, very careful in designing our curriculum, because all our institutions are autonomous in nature. We want to have the right blend, the knowledge, the skill, and the competency level, right? When a student completes their 3 year or 4 year program from campuses like us, and we would like to see that this right blend is properly given away as an employable graduate from our campus. Yes, until otherwise we design the right curriculum, it's very difficult to make a students to follow it. Otherwise, they will be on their own. You know that. So this is the way, yeah, even Hindustan is operating. And the recent past, what we did is the new era technology is inevitable that we want to have it in our every program. To train that to that level, to that of the industry requirement as per the education, I mean, Industry 4.0 standard, really there is a gap in terms of the knowledge transformation from the existing teachers. So we do invite our industry experts, and we do have many of the courses as industry integrated programs. We took the support of the industries. Big multinational companies are coming down to academic side, and they would like to help the academicians to train the students as well as they train the faculty colleagues here. So in that way, we are rightly giving the content in terms of the new area technology. But when we come to this soft skill area, really it's a challenge for the institution. That too, until otherwise the total teacher community understands about all these required soft skills through their actions in terms of their knowledge delivery inside the campuses. It's a little difficult part to rightly give the required soft skills for the student community. But as a whole, right, the institutions are aware to see that what kind of future skills are required and what kind of the competency levels are required for our student community when they want to be employable after 3 years and 4 years. That's what we have been doing in our institutions.
Perfect, Karnakaran sir. So I think we've lost Srinivasan sir for some time. So let him join back. Before that, I'll just post my next question to Anwar sir. So the size of media and entertainment industry is almost around 3 crore rupees, right? 3 lakh crore rupees right now, and there are multiple initiatives also taken by media houses. But in the sector, in the higher education sector of media, what and all changes you would want the government to do so that there are a lot of media colleges, media centric colleges coming up?
See, one of the things that we face
So,
is that
yeah, please carry on. Sorry.
a lot of people, who want to. I think, I mean, I hope this forum becomes a ideal platform for youngsters to understand. Many of them think that visual communication is the way out. So BSc visual communication is what many of them go for, but that is again kind of structured. It's not a really highly evolved. The syllabus is all that. There are problems, like every other syllabus that needs to be kind of fine tuned. That needs to happen. That is where I really see, because as all the other panelists were saying, employability. You find today. I mean, like uh, Dr. Karnagaran sir was saying, uh, last year, I think the year before, suddenly visual communication seems to have become the flavor. Every other, I think, engineering colleges which also wants to bring in arts course, they immediately go for a visual communication course. And so today you have almost like every college offering visual communication. And sadly, the thing is that many of the management think that visual communication is all about, just get a few people to at a low level, and then put them as faculty. That is enough done. If you're talking about design, it's not just about Photoshop. That is the basics of design, the basics of communication. Unfortunately, we really don't have qualified faculty to deal with that. You have something like National Institute of Design, but how many other things, you have institutions for that. Similarly for journalism also. So that is one problem that we face: employability. All these students go through the visual communication course, but at the end of the 3 years, they have not. Very few of them are really employable. So what the government, I think, needs to do is needs to give a flexibility. I really new education policy. We have not really seen the full thing. Only a part of it is available. I hope there is a flexibility for these institutions. Once they become autonomous, I understand that there is going to be a road to autonomy. Easier autonomy is what the new education policy is saying. So then that kind of flexibility comes, then the education institutions will be able to frame curriculum that is more in tune. And one thing is media also. See, 3 years is a too long a time in media. Technology. I mean, all you guys, I mean, other panelists are technology areas, engineering. This is one field where it's rapidly changing. New software coming in, new apps coming in, and then completely, we all remember Orkut once. Today, Orkut is gone. Like that, TikTok got banned, and then something else is now replacing it. Matter of month, the whole thing is changing. It's happening. So this adaptability, the understanding. So there's a need, that greater flexibility to frame curriculum, which is what I would expect, the government to give, especially when it comes to media and all that. So that will drive a lot more people to get into media, because this is going to be one of the booming sectors. Entertainment is going to be an area that people need entertainment. We might have so many problems, but it's entertainment at the end of the day. It enables you to unwind you, and you can also communicate, through that infotainment. So all that is possible. So this flexibility for the institutions to frame, especially when it comes to media, a quicker ability to change the curriculum. That has to have both employability in mind, the industry standards, how the industry will be transforming, that also has to be kept in mind. This is what I would expect the government to help, and other media houses also to take it up. Hello?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your opinion. My next question is for Dr. Srinivasan. So there are a lot of
Sir, can I throw some light on my dimension?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Please go ahead.
In between there is a technological disturbance, so it got disconnected. Dear participants, see, one of the assignment when I was with my earlier institution is that I'm a hardcore engineering teacher. Suddenly, the principal has called and said, Srinivasan, you are one of the the placement and training directors. I took training uh, and almost for the past 15-20 years, apart from my research administration, my passion is training. I work closely, but I think Professor Nagaraj will appreciate this. In statistics, we call something called bell-shaped curve. So when it comes to IQ, God has not created everyone with equal IQ. So naturally, some of them has got me with respect to me, about some 60% of them has got an average IQ level, and 15% are exceptionally good, and 15% have lower IQ. So when it comes to education, we have to take this factor into account because 4 years of engineering, the very precious time the students spend, and 4 lakhs to 7 lakhs, depending on the institution or which category get admitted, management quota or government quota accordingly. So, two-thirds of Indians are not affordable to pay this much. So, at the end of the show, they get bank loan and they study. So, we are answerable to the amount of money that they have spent, amount of time they have invested. So, naturally, they must get a quality job. So, from that dimension, I am telling all these things. See, in every spectrum, every field, art, science, engineering, media, or whatever, there is a job for in every segment. My request is that you analyze which spectrum you are. The higher spectrum will go for R&D type of work, creativity, more creativity oriented work. The medium spectrum will go for manufacturing, production, and the lower end of the spectrum will naturally will have more skills, though IQs are less. So they are good for especially the quality control, quality assurance, and this kind of more of skill oriented jobs. So, but in every field, you take engineering, then there is a R&D and product design. In any field of engineering, you choose mechanical, civil, electrical, computer science, IT. Everywhere this is there. So this segment, the top 30% of IQ fits in. The manufacturing sector is there, wherein the large volume. Take any manufacturing industry, 20% will be in R&D design, and 50% will be in manufacturing, and remaining 20% will be in the quality control and delivery and repair maintenance. This is how the spectrum of product life cycle we engineers work. So, in my opinion, beyond curriculum, if it is autonomous, easy. We are not autonomous at the moment. So beyond curriculum, we have to offer value-added courses in such a way that these three streams are being trained. So that increases the employability of the student. Naturally, he gets employed. Whichever institution who focuses on it, like our knowledge is from technology, they could able to place every student irrespective of their IQ level. So this kind of segregation is needed. Whether it's in my opinion, in the entire panel, Anwarji sits on media, where a high level of creativity is required. Wherein those kind of students were they need not have very high marks, but they have got creative, right, just some drawing skills, they can excel. But in a field like engineering, wherein entire spectrum of people can survive, provided even for example, computer science, there is some department called IT infrastructure management. That doesn't require very high IQ. So one third of our students are employed. The bottom spectrum of the IQ spectrums are employed in the IT infrastructure management. It doesn't mean that everybody who joins computer science only does coding and does some exceptionally creative work. Yes, it is there. Similarly, software testing is another area wherein you doesn't require very high IQ, but you require a patience. So like that, everyone can fit in any field. But there is some field like media, in my opinion. I should not talk from outside perspective. Similarly, the core pure science that requires really a higher IQ, and rest of the fields I think can have an entire spectrum it can accommodate. This is my perspective on matching the education, your skills, and finally the employability. Over to the moderator.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Tarun,
Yes,
Tarun, I
sir.
think, may I add one perspective?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
You know, I heard this from my PhD advisor. You know, I think, as I mentioned, I was an undergraduate in Indian Statistical Institute and got my master's in Indian Statistical Institute also. You know, the really nicest place to go to college, go to school. It's a very small class. I had only 18 students. And there were more faculty than students in the entire institution. It's one of the best places in the earth to do study. And then I went to do my PhD, and I have a very, very good mentor. You know, he told me one day, he's an American gentleman. Okay? He's from basically Iowa. He was born in a farm, and he became a statistician, became one of the best well-known statisticians. His name is Wayne Fuller. He said that if you love what you're doing, then you don't have to work for a single day. This is what he told me. So this is actually one of the most important things. You know, everybody wants to be happy. You know, regardless of whether, whether what part of the bell curve they are in, they want to be happy. And if you want to be happy, you should be doing what you want to do. If you may be a most well-paid surgeon in the city, but if you really don't like doing surgery, then it's going to be a very, very long day. On the other hand, if you are a person who likes teaching, and you are teaching from morning 8:30 to 5 o'clock, it's going to be a very short day because you will be so enjoying the students' company, so into what you're doing. So that's actually a very, very important thing for you to do when you decide to do what you want to do. So that is why ask yourself, what do you want to do? I want you to post up the slides, that one slide I gave you. I'm just going to use this as an illustration only. Can you post the slide, please? Yeah, here is just an example. I'm just demonstrating it because I have this slide available to me. You can demonstrate that with any one of the institutions that we have here. So we are offering BCom, BBA, BSc in Applied Psychology, and a BA in Applied Psychology, BA in Sanskrita, and BA, B.Ed, and BSc B.Ed. These are brand new programs. We just got approval from NCTE for that. These are single pedagogy, single subject courses. Exactly the one that is mentioned in NEP as the next thing. So very soon, when the NEP framework comes out, they will be saying that get a BA, B.Ed, and BSc B.Ed degree like the one in CPV, because that is their thing. So you look at ask yourself, what is the typical day of this person is going to be? Someone with a BCom, he gets a CA. What is his typical person? Who does he deal with? What kind of people he will be interacting with? Will that make me happy? That is the kind of questions that you want to ask. As a young person, it's very, very difficult. Usually, you have to ask you have to follow your parents' advice. But at the end of the day, you want to be happy. Everyone has to be happy. But luckily, in today's world, there is a second chance. You can do, the NEP, that's actually the most attractive part of national education policy. It is going to open up education in such a way that it will allow you to leave, go out, work for some time, and come back and follow another path. And I don't know whether you mentioned this in my intro or not. I went to US in 1982, and I got my PhD in 86. And I came back in 2019, so I was in US for 30 plus years. And in US, they have people moving from one subject to another subject all the time. And the typical number of times a student changes their major in US? Panelists, you want to guess? Is it one time? Two, twice? Three? No, it's more than 4 times. 5 to 6 times people change their mind. Sometimes it is a small change, maybe one specialization, another specialization. This is actually going to be the case once the NEP comes. Those of you participating here, I was told there are 500 plus people here. You are the luckiest people in the world. I know right now you think that COVID is really affecting you, but you are the luckiest people because you're going to be in a system, the new system, that is going to allow you to change your mind. You can start your program saying that, hey, I want to be a mathematician. After 2 years and say, no, 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 I want to be an artist. I want to go to Mr. Anwar's media school and become a journalist. That is possible. Those of us, those panelists, we didn't have that many options. We got stuck with the engineering, we got stuck with the engineering. We got stuck with the mathematics, we got stuck with the mathematics. I was one of the lucky who ended up doing something I loved. I went to ISI, statistics, I liked it, and I am in love with it. I am not working a single day. Everything I do is just an enjoyable exercise. So don't worry about your choice as much as you did in your previous generation. Don't worry about it as much as your parents did. You will have a second chance. You will start something today. After 1 or 2 years, you will change. Remember, no, don't rush it because you are going to live 100 years. Definitely 10 plus years more than in average than any of us, four of us sitting here, because you are in a next generation. You, for 1 year, for you out of 100 is nothing. Let that 1 year go to waste. It does not really matter. But do something you enjoy doing. And if you come to Srini, you will get that kind of advice. And I hope that all the institutions give that kind of advice, so that earlier on, Dr. Karunakaran talked about EQ, the emotional quotient. That corresponds to happiness. At the end of the day, when you are in a work day, when you go home after work day, many days you are not going to accomplish what you have wanted to accomplish, but you still want to go home happy, thinking positively about the next day.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. You very well said, actually. It's all about passion when it comes to choosing a stream. Dr. Karnakaran, I have a question for you, sir. So, in the post-COVID world, do you think the demand for biomedical, biotechnology, any courses related to the biological field, because we're facing a biological issue right now, they will see an upsurge in admissions and students will prefer doing that? What do you think about it, sir?
Yeah, we do experience, right? We do experience really in our institutions. See, in Hindustan Group institutions, we offer a number of programs in the bioscience area, whether it is art science programs like microbiology, biotechnology. And the engineering side also, we do have biotechnology, biomedical engineering. We do have allied health, all those areas. Yes, the demand has rise. That's the right answer. I would like to give it to you. And it may not be the reason. The COVID may not be the reason, but the natural tendency towards bioscience program, that demand is always there, whether it is medical or for allied health or engineering, bioscience related courses. It is there.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Srinivasan, I have a question for you, sir. Sir,
Yes.
there are a lot of questions, even in the audience questions, and the talk of the town is data sciences, artificial intelligence, machine learning, sir. Do you think this is a bubble or the future is actually there, sir? Could you please throw some
No,
light?
no, this is not a bubble. How the electricity has changed the way we live in, how the internet has changed the way we live in, how the COVID has changed the how online towards physical classroom to online teaching. This may reverse, but that see because now the data generation in terabytes, thousands of terabytes, is happening. So we have the computer capability. So the artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, Internet of Things. These are all not the buzzwords. Probably 3 to 5 years down the line, it will be there in every aspect of business. See, when I was in IIT Bombay, that time only this Casio FX31 calculator was launched. So we were fortunate to get those first calculators. But that time with the green LED display, two batteries used to get exhausted in 1 week time. That is the way we. But now today, this mobile phone has got billion times more capability and so many things. So that is the way we things are changing. So but don't think this is an isolated field. This is a field with an application of already existing civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, commerce, even the hotel industry, any business for that matter, even media industry, sentiment analysis. In Twitter, people do sentiment analysis, the mood of the people. And now the Google, if you might have seen now itself, you are searching certain things, then only immediately your Quora.com sends relevant messages. And Google, YouTube, if you search a few 1980 songs, then actually whenever you go to YouTube, there is a mix of to TEDx talks. That's where I prefer a lot of technical stuff and something related to some 1980 songs. These are all automatically feeded. So these are already we are experiencing it, though probably common man may not be knowing it. But this is going to be the part and parcel. Don't think it is only those who study artificial intelligence or machine learning they are going to use it. It is not that. Every field of engineering, medicine, or science, everywhere this will be how we are using computers today for every application. I think in another 3 to 5 years down the line, this will be. You need not go in depth into it. There is a tool like this. Click this. You want this? You feed this information. You will get this information like a black box. That is how the things going to emerge for a common man. But for a hardcore person with this knowledge, they will be designing and improving those algorithms. So that is how the order of the day is going to be. So you need not worry about it, whether you like it or not. How we have been calling a taxi, how we have been booking a cinema ticket, you all remember. Now we don't do in a similar way. We just Uber app or Uber or Ola or book my tickets or some kind of thing. In a similar way, there will be a lot of apps will be there on artificial intelligence, machine learning. And you for this you pick this, give this, it will give something. So that is how the things will change. So don't worry, don't get afraid of it. It is for a positive change. Let us hope. In anything there will be a negative side. 10% may be negative, but 90% positive we have to look for. That is my opinion, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. You gave a very clear perspective of the future, I guess.
I would like to add up here, sir. See, only this year, the All India Council for Technical Education introduced the new courses, new era courses, namely artificial intelligence and machine learning, data science, all those kind of courses. Whichever institutions opted for these courses, our first round of admissions are filled only in these courses. Students are fully aware about the new era technologies, and of course, overflowing admissions. People are in queue for these kind of courses, not only in engineering institutions as well as in the arts and science institutions. Students are aware, yes, this is the future, and they are positively taking it. Whenever the changes are coming in this kind of changes, usually there will be hesitation to approach towards such kind of courses in colleges. Whereas towards this new era technologies at this particular point of time, it's a very, very welcoming trend among the students.
So Tarun, can I add one more thought to this very nice question that you asked? See, the interesting thing about data science and artificial intelligence, they are really tools. So simply when you hear data science, don't think science. Don't simply when you hear artificial intelligence, don't think computer science or engineering. There is so much data science to do within sociology. There is so much data science to do in psychology. So those of you who are listening to you, data science, don't say data science jobs are there only for those who are doing engineering or math or computer scientists. Keep your tools handy. Learn these tools, but learn a functional area that is of passion to you. That is how you bring a passion and profession together. If you're a good data scientist, you'll make a good living forever. So Tarun, don't worry, it's not a bubble. It has never been a bubble because everybody, you go back 30 years, data scientists were making a very good living even 30 years ago. Now, of course, it has been 10 times, 20 times factored. But data science people who are quantitative have done a good living for a long time. But now is an opportunity. I think Mr. Anwar mentioned earlier, even in media, there is big data. Even in sociology, psychology, medicine, Everywhere there is big data. So pick up those skills, follow your passion.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I like to add only one small point.
Yes.
Especially the management education will have a very high influence of artificial intelligence in the days to come. This is my further point. Over to the panelist.
Yes, sir. Mr. Anwar, you wanted to say something, sir, about this?
No, I just wanted to say, being worried about job losses, or if you look at industrial revolution when it happened, the people are worried. Industrial revolution means it's going, machines are going to take away all the jobs, and people will be jobless. But then you found that today the population is in billions. It has grown manifold, and there are sufficient jobs. The world has progressed, and life has improved. Yes, there are attendant problems with it. You have pollution and all that. But again, we need to solve. We need to rethink, like what Professor Nagaraj is saying. Looking at it from the Indian perspective, let us look at a sustainable thing. We have gone for growth, but without thinking of the side effects and all that. So I think that is what needs to be. So we don't need to be worried about it. As I said, today sitting in media, I can't think data as something very pure science alone. As I told, data journalism, big data journalism is very much part of us. So we also embrace, and media has become a very exciting place. For me, for us, we get a ringside view of all that is happening. You are developing a COVID vaccine, yes, you're sitting in media, you can specialize in science journalism and you can get into it. So there is huge opportunity. And as I said, media is not just confined to just a few newspapers. A blog, a YouTube channel, or podcasting, you can reach in many ways and you can make money. At the end of it, you can just make money. You can be sitting in a village and still do a show and make money. It's your passion. And one thing is that, yes, creativity and also good communication skills. That is one thing that we require. You have to be good in languages, either your mother tongue or English. That's one thing I think very important also for communication. If you are thinking of doing scripts, writing stories, writing articles, and all that. But for another thing like creating animation and all that, yeah, that comes with a different kind of a thing. But at the end of the day, this passion for writing, passion for creativity, and passion to make a change, that I think will drive. So there will be many more jobs. With all this change that's happening, Internet of Things, it's going to be an exciting place. Sometimes, it leaves you breathless. There's so much to catch up on. Today, as we were talking before this panel happened, 10 years back, anyone who enters an office and opens a Facebook, he would be fired. The management would say, don't touch Facebook. What are you doing? Why are you spending time? Today, Facebook has become a part of your promotion. Companies incorporate, be it Facebook or Instagram. You want to reach the youngsters, you need to have Instagram. Like that, there are various things that are coming in. So it's an exciting place, opening up new opportunities. So look at it that way.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anurji. I like to add one more dimension to your words. The person with highly ethical standards are very much essential in the media field. Otherwise, any negative news will do huge destruction to the society. That if the people are highly ethical, that will save many lives. Otherwise, one small unnecessary news may spark, and a lot of lives will be spoiled, and a lot of property will be damaged. So that is where we have to be very cautious. Over to the moderators.
Very, very true, sir. For now, there is a lot of people who are working on identifying fake news and all that. That itself has become a different sector now. Almost as an industry, there are many groups, which are working only on identifying fake news, trolls, that sort of a thing. It's very true. You need to have a ethical. That's the very basis, for the progress of humanity. That is so. Media, yes, you have right, as you rightly said, with ethics. When you're coming in, come. This is the one basic requirement of the media field.
Thank you so much, sir. Anwar sir, I have a follow-up question for you, sir. As per NEP, sir, the multidisciplinary graduation has been allowed, sir. So, do you think this multidisciplinary graduation will help a lot of students choose media as a minor along with their engineering or medical? Because for now, there are not a lot of colleges and a lot of institutes that offer bachelor's or postgraduate degrees in media. So, do you think this multidisciplinary graduation will help students pursue their passion of media, sir?
Definitely. I mean, there's. I mean, as Professor Nagaraj was saying, I don't know whether before the discussion started, we were talking about the US system where the majors, how a student can change majors in between, in the American system, education system. And I believe, they can change up to 5 majors. I mean, they almost change up to 5 majors. So people, giving this multidisciplinary approach. See, this is an age. 18 is still too young. There are people who are not able to make a decision. So giving this multidisciplinary, enables them to try out things. They can try out in a media. They can try out something related, and probably also somebody interested in science but also wants to write. Then it becomes the media becomes a added thing advantage for him. Trying that out, creative writing, going for that as a it adds value. So I think that will be a very important improvement in the education system.
All right.
I like to add one point, sir. Actually, in the any specific domain, maybe physics or chemistry or mechanical engineering or electrical engineering, the core has been explored enough. The opportunities are now lies with the overlapping between different domains. Overlapping of mechanical engineering with biology, overlapping of civil engineering with mechanical engineering, heat transfer, because buildings consume a lot of energy. So if this like that. Similarly, anybody, whether individual or organization, they have to sell themselves to grow. So where they need marketing or this kind of media related abilities. Similarly, self-organizing we require either to run an institution or an industry or self-organized. We need a little bit of management education knowledge. So I think this new education policy with the blend of all these things. I always see something called the T model, the English letter T. So you must have 2 years, you must have a breadth of education of various fields, not necessarily one particular domain. And this T is one particular vertical. So in the 4 years, 2 years, you spread across as much as you can. And otherwise, it's a pi model. We can say this is a pi, like the letter pi. So two verticals. So if one is in the T, the disadvantage is that if that doesn't click, then you are end up with doing something more. So if you specialize a broad horizontal and two vertical in the third year and fourth year of your 4 year degree, any branch or any education or anything you do, definitely that will give a reasonably good job opportunities. But of course, the lifelong learning, because within 3 to 5 years, everything changes. Now, whichever profession you are at it, lifelong learning has become an integral part, and we have to continuously upgrade. If you are in the fast changing industry like mobile, computer science, every one year, almost every 18 months, something new comes in. So we are in mechanical, civil, or some kind of industry. Once in 3 years, a lot of things happening. So this frequent we have to adopt. So that is a need of the hour, whichever field you are in. Go to the panelist.
Tarun, I think Dr. Srinivasan has said it so beautifully about the importance of interdisciplinarity. So you will pick up, even in a multidisciplinary environment, you will pick up one or two topics. But remember, that is only a beginning, because when you go out, COVID, nobody has seen before. So you have to learn a lot about it. So if you're a data scientist or a biologist or an engineer or whoever is working in this field, you'll have to learn a lot about this new thing that they're just thrown at you. So the only thing that is constant is learning. So learn to learn. So don't focus on what you're learning necessarily. So what you're majoring is going to become much less important. Demonstrating and that you're able to learn is going to be the key for employment. You will go and apply to a job, and you will actually say that, hey, when I started the university, I didn't know this thing. When I left the university, I didn't know this. Now I know all these things. Your resume will show what new things you have learned and how many of those things you have to learn on your own. So the teacher's role is going to be not just making students putting things in their head. It's going to be to teach them how to learn. So this is the new paradigm for both teaching and to colleges.
Thank you so much, sir.
Interestingly, we could find the same reflection from UGC as well as AICT this year. UGC has brought down a curriculum called the Learning Outcome-Based Curriculum Framework, in which they have mandated certain things like interdisciplinary learning, ability enhancement courses, kind of thing, along with a curriculum called Jeevan Kushal. A life skill is coming back again to India, right? Very interesting component. It's a compulsory component now as per UGC, and this year they have released it. And if you see the process manual of AICT, we could find some compulsory courses like communication skill, principles of management, financial accounting, engineering economics, project management, environmental studies, entrepreneurship, strategic management, business environment, creativity and innovation. So these are some of the compulsory courses along with the domain programs. So we could witness, right? Yes, all-round personalities taken up well before NEP from UGC as well as AICT.
Yes, Karnagaran. I'd like to add one more point. Now, this year in the approval process handbook, ACT has introduced major, minor, honors minor concept. It means 160 credits is a requirement for any BE. If a student is interested, he can take up minor or honors, additional 20 credits from any other branch of engineering, from science and humanities, from music, or from literature, and we can get a major in mechanical engineering, minor in English poetry. Something like that is also possible now. This kind of things are being permitted. This allows colleges like ours to offer a lot of variety of combinations that will give a better professional life. That is the thing. Now, universal human values, AICT is coming up in a big way. All engineering colleges, two courses they have to introduce in the second and third semester of engineering. They are called universal human values, and they are in the process of training about 5 lakh people, human resource. And I have also attended one program, 5 days program online. So every program, second program is going on, and next level of my faculty are attending. So now a lot of blending is taking place. It's a welcome move, because then only we'll have a holistic human development. Plus, individual can pursue based on their interest. One more point I like to add. Today, the well-known music director A.R. Rahman knows more technologies than any of the technology teaching faculty. Because of which he could able to mix so many things and modulation, all those things. He can deliver a good music. So now just playing guitar itself is not sufficient to deliver a music. Similarly, many may be knowing the famous poet Vairamuthu. His son is a computer engineer. He worked in multinational companies. After 10-15 years, he came into this poetry field, Tamil poetry field, and he is revolutionizing a lot of blending with technology. And this, he does a lot of things that is possible provided you mix two major disciplines: so, music plus technology, or the engineering knowledge with poetry. So this kind of blends are the order of the day, and the new education policy paves a way for everything in a good set. In a nutshell, I think a lot of good things will going to happen in another 10-15 years in this country. Over to the panelists.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your opinion, sir. It's almost our closing time. Can we have closing remarks from each of you, starting with Mr. Anwar?
Thank you, Naz. Like other panelists have been saying, if you have go where your passion is, there is always a job. If you do something that you like, you don't need to you don't need to work hard for a living. You'll enjoy doing it. So, whatever be your passion, if you are into engineering, don't think that there is a job opportunity over there. That's why you're going to take that course. You really feel passionate about to take it. Similarly, I would say, batting for media, where I come from, yes, if you have good creative skills, writing skills, and this is the best place. That offers you a lot of scope. You can be on your own also. There are so many outlets. So it's full of hope. Once the pandemic is over, you can look at world, with a lot more opportunities. That is what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Professor Nagraj, sir, what about your opinion, sir? Your closing remarks?
Okay, definitely. I want to go back to your theme. Booming undergraduates. I think left it open for us to interpret. So undergraduate curriculum is booming. The NEP is going to open things up. There's going to be a lot more options. I think there is a population is always growing, so you're going to have more and more people to be, and more and more people to be educated, and so you need more and more colleges, more and more teachers, more and more faculty. So, what are the opportunities for those who are coming up? Your opportunity is to make the world you're living a happy place, not only for you, for others as well. So this requires two things. No, if you're not happy, you cannot make others happy. There is no way you can make other people happy unless you're happy. So your first order of business is to be happy. You cannot be happy if you're hungry. So you need to find a way to get a job and pay your bills. Nobody has been happy being hungry. That is a very rare person indeed. So make sure that you follow a path that has, listen to advice from people. Your panelists have spoken plenty of all kinds of opportunities. Find something among them, something that you like. That is the key. Something that you like. Some among things that are employable and so on. But if your passion is on something, don't worry about whether it's an employability or not. So if you're really after something, you say, no, I really, really, really want to do this. Go ahead. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, they never graduated from college. There is no way, because they went after passion. However, that is not for everybody. So I would say that, you first find something that is interesting and profitable, follow that path. On the other hand, if your mind is on something, this is really what I want to do. Now, if that happens to be a subject that is in CVV, come to us. We'll be very happy to have you. But on the other hand, if that is something somewhere else, please go where your mind takes you, because again, that is part of being happy. That you need to go to a place where you feel that I belong to this university and I think I'll grow here. That's very, very important. Don't go with just the fancy slide or fancy flight. Make sure that you make some calls and talk to people who have been there and say, hey, will this be a place where I'll be happy?
Very well said, sir. Thank you so much. Dr. Karnakaran, so your closing remarks, sir.
Yeah. Really, this education paradigm shift is taking place, right? We are really experiencing. It is going to be demand-led instead of a supply-led education system hereafter. This is what my view. And it is also going to be competency-based instead of knowledge-based, lifelong learning instead of front-loaded learning, modular degree programs instead of one-shot going. That is what NEP is designed and going to give away. And more emphasis is on going to be the EQ than IQ. The opportunity for the undergraduate programs, not only undergraduate programs, the total education programs, is clearly focusing on purposefulness, mindfulness, leading to overall happiness and well-being of the citizens. That's what the focus and the opportunity is. Hindustan Educational Institutions, Coimbatore, wishes for a happy learning to everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Srinivasan, your opinion, sir, about the same?
Yeah, thanks to Collegedunia for giving this opportunity. Happy to be a part of a widely knowledgeable panelist. In my opinion, end of the day, we need money to survive. So naturally, whatever passion we have, we must pursue, because that only will make you to excel. As our Nagaraj said and many other panelists said, without interest, we cannot do anything. But whichever institution you choose, see that you get a hardcore quality education. Learn the fundamentals, because they are the foundations. And first 2 years, then depending on your interest at the time, take 1 or 2 verticals and pursue whatever you wanted to. Sometimes the institutions that you have chosen might not be of giving the way the employability skills it has to be. Because that is where I was being put into that basket, and I am aware of it. In our knowledge of technology, we do this meticulously. That's the placement is not at all a problem. Once placement is not at all a problem, admission is not at all a problem. But today, this is not so specific to one institute or that. Everything is available in the open media, YouTube channels. You can learn, self-learn many things beyond your what is being taught in the institution. So as every panelist said, at the end of the day, the fire in the belly to do something. That's number one. Today, in anything in the world, because you have been taken care by parents very well, and you are in a protected environment, you have grown up to 12th standard. Maybe up to college, they will support. But after that, you have to see the real world. The real world, only 10% will happen in a way that you like. 90% will happen the way that you don't like. So that is where Karnagaran's point of view, what he keep on stressing, emotional intelligence and keeping our mind happy and healthy despite all such disturbances. This requires beyond our routine curriculum, individual mindset. Happiness is a state of mind. If I feel unhappy by attending this, naturally I cannot be happy. So happiness is influenced, maybe influenced by so many surrounding factors. So be a blend of all and have a good profession, earn money, and enjoy music, enjoy film, enjoy the social media, have some fun, but have a good sleep. That's what ultimately even the Bill Gates is going to have. I am going to have. You are going to have. Everyone is going to have. So that is a way we have to keep our mind positive. So today, a lot of things in the, especially the media science, I not forgot to say, many times the negative news are being projected too much. Don't go behind that. Go to internet, type on Google whatever you want. If you want a real quality stuff, put a come on PDF. Normally, PDF material has got not corrupted to that level like other material formats. So if you want real employability related, India skill report or employability report in India, just put come up PDF code, you will get some 4-5 reports. You yourself can analyze and see which course has got a good employability. But this is about past. But what will happen at the end of 4 years is what you are going to worry. So that we have to make a reasonable prediction. So that is where your guess lies. But my point of view, 30 years, I have seen 30 batch of students in engineering. Similarly, many of my friends' sons, daughters, everyone has settled very well. What is needed at that point of time, if you get able to learn and equip continuously, you will always be there. So I always used to tell one small aspect to my dear students, whoever studied, be 10% different and better than the environment you operate. You will always be have a happy and healthy life. You doesn't need to be a absolutely great runner like Usain Bolt to meet the 100-meter dash. 100 people are running 100-meter dash. I can able to put one step ahead of my 99. I am on the first person. That's all. What do you always the difference between the winner and runner is less than 5%, 10%. So that 10% edge, if you are able to do whichever profession you are in a happy, healthy way, in a professionally ethical way, and it is a little bit different from others. Winners don't do different things; they do the things differently, like as Shivkara said. These are all some of the blends. So with all these things, we can make a India is a beautiful country, growing country, youngest country. Lot of opportunities are there. Diversity is our basic strength. Unity in diversity is a great strength. So with all these things, definitely we can able to achieve. In my opinion, Dr. Kalam thought developed India by 2020. Probably in another 10 years, 2030, we all work together. We can make our India superpower by 2030, a developed nation. Thanks for giving the opportunity. Thanks to everyone.
Very well said. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all the panelists for being a part of this amazing session. It was quite insightful, and we've already started receiving feedbacks for this session from a lot of students. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Collegedunia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.